Football fans, if you were unable to see the live action of the 2018 FIFA World Cup from Russia, Bermuda Broadcasting Company would like to take this opportunity to inform our valued viewers. We will rebroadcast all 64 matches of the 2018 FIFA World Cup from Russia on ZFB TV7 nightly. The rebroadcast will start at 8 p.m. and end in the early hours of the next morning. This will coincide with the FIFA daily schedule.
You can count on us.
Sweet and juicy peaches, $2.49 per pound. Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Lay's potato chips, 6.5-ounce bag, only $3.79. Crisco vegetable oil, 32-ounce bottle, only $4.29. Select varieties of Friendly's ice cream, 48-ounce, hot price, only $4.65. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
You are watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Thursday, the 5th of July. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us tonight. 15 new officers may have joined the ranks of the Department of Corrections, but our sources say it will take much more than additional staff to address the many ills plaguing the island's correctional facilities. Gary Moreno tells us more.
A senior official within the Department of Correction contends officers are growing increasingly concerned about their safety and well-being, as well as that of the inmates. Among the reasons is said to be an increase in attempts to smuggle contraband into prison facilities. We're told just last week, 4 men were arrested after being caught attempting to smuggle illegal items into Westgate. According to our source, an individual threw a package over the perimeter fence, but the package and the intended recipients on the inside of the fence were intercepted by corrections officers, leading to the arrests. It is understood those arrested were all inmates. Then, sometime within the last few days, another package thrown over the fence was intercepted by officers at Westgate, with a suspect reportedly seen leaving the area on a jet ski. Contacted about these incidents, National Security Minister Wayne Keynes told us the ministry can confirm there was an attempted breach of the Westgate Correctional Facility perimeter. Corrections officers, though, responded accordingly, unquote. Mr. Keynes added, "Let me remind and stress that those who violate the law will be prosecuted, and the individuals involved in this attempt are awaiting disciplinary action." The minister saying as well the Department of Corrections has increased security measures around the perimeter and will continue to manage and minimize such risks. In a recent interview with Bermuda Broadcasting News, Timothy Sion, president of the Prisons Officers Association, revealed some of the safety concerns within the island's corrections system, where he indicated officers are severely outnumbered by inmates, with one of the chief protection measures relied upon by the officers not functioning.
Morale's very low. We've been given promises for a very long time. We have a lot of outstanding issues that go back to the year 2000 when we actually went to arbitration, and a lot of those outstanding matters have not been addressed.
What were some of these matters?
Well, we have the duress system. Currently in some of the facilities, the duress system is not working properly. Duress is more or less a GPS that if an officer is in distress, that they can actually be found within the facilities in a fairly quick amount of time and be given assistance.
So officers continue to be at risk, is what you're saying?
Constantly.
Elsewhere, another source at the Ministry of National Security told us government is not treating lightly with the issues affecting the Department of Corrections staff. And to that end, a meeting has been scheduled with the Prisons Officers Association for the 16th of this month to discuss and review policies and procedures as part of a full security assessment of the island's prison system. In terms of the contraband situation, our source explained that the Commissioner of Police and the Acting Commissioner of Corrections are working on an interdepartmental plan for addressing this not only vexing but dangerous practice. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
The government has formally filed an appeal against the Supreme Court decision to reverse the ban on same-sex marriage. The Home Affairs Minister Walton Brown today announced the move, saying the government looked forward to having the matter heard in the Court of Appeal. The appeal was widely expected after the Supreme Court ruled in early June in favor of a constitutional challenge to the Domestic Partnership Act, saying the parts of the act that revoked marriage equality were invalid. That judgment was widely welcomed by gay rights activists, but the government said at the time it would appeal subject to legal advice. Well, Shadow National Security Minister Michael Dunkley has repeated his call for the government to do more to keep the ministerial travel expenses website up to date. But questioned about what some have called turmoil within the OBA, the former premier was more tight-lipped, though he was elusive in his praise for both Andrew Simons and Nick Kemp, OBA senators dumped from the upper house by the party. Hal Davis reports.
Premier David Burt is currently in Jamaica attending the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. But trips like this have come under the spotlight, after the Royal Gazette on Tuesday showed ministers were slow to publish their expenses for such trips on the official travel website. On Wednesday, $40,000 in travel costs were added for 9 trips by National Security Minister Wayne Keynes. But Mr Dunkley today was not impressed.
I'm surprised that the PLP launched it with great fanfare, and then, within a short period of time, it appears that the vast majority of the ministers have fallen behind, and not just 1 or 2 trips, but with a number of trips. And then, to overnight, because it's been publicized, to see that a minister just adds on over $40,000 worth of trips overnight, without any, explanation other than it's administrative error. Well, I appreciate that, but it's up to a minister to make sure that they follow up with the staff in the ministry to make sure the costs are received, then the travel expenses are posted.
Premier Burt has reacted to the initial media coverage, saying ministerial travel is hardly a secret and there is absolutely nothing to hide. But we can and will do a better job of keeping the information on the travel website updated. A government spokesman says the site should be up to date by the end of the week. But it's not just the travel website that's raising eyebrows. Remarks by the former Premier and OBA leader, Craig Cannonier, earlier this week on this programme have also been making headlines. Mr Cannonier said his party needs to get its act together, labelling current boss Jean Atherton an interim leader. Mr Dunkley would not comment directly on those comments, but he was effusive in his praise for both Andrew Simons and Nick Kemp, 2 senators sacked by the current leadership for less experienced politicians.
I think I expressed my concern at the time that Nick Kemp was removed. I think he was, a solid, young person who wanted to get involved. And what I liked about Nick Kemp, and I still like about it, and I believe he will come back to the party because he's certainly not going to the PLP. I liked his work ethic, and I like his commitment to the people. I like his ability to get stuck in on an issue and listen to people and represent them. So it was a disappointment, but the leader had her reasons behind that. We need to accept that. Andrew Simons is the same way.
So Mr Dunkley seems keen to avoid direct public attacks on his leader, but such comments do seem to indicate that he's far from agreeing with her, on some issues at least. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Government Senator Anthony Richardson has hit back at OBA criticism of the government's efforts to establish a financial technology or fintech industry. Opposition leader Jean Atherton told Bermuda Broadcasting News on Friday that a new class of banks catering to fintech suggested by Premier David Burt would compete with local banks. But Senator Richardson told Tarai Trott there will be no such competition from any new institutions.
No, actually, that's not clearly what he said. What the Premier was saying as Minister of Finance is that they are proposing to change the banking regulations to allow for different classes of banks, and is necessary because within the fintech area or fintech industry, the banks need to be able to receive money and then transmit it overseas. And the local banks have said that they don't want to participate at this stage because they perceive it as being too risky. And in our statement, what we reinforce is the fact is that the Bermuda Bankers Association have agreed to potentially allowing these new banks to come to the island, similarly with the BMA. And so with those 2 institutions themselves supporting what's happening, we believe that it is obviously the appropriate action to take.
And Senator Richardson accused the opposition OBA of fear-mongering on the fintech issue, which includes services such as blockchain and Bitcoin.
And it's because, and we see it in the Senate also, by the way, in that many times what the opposition would do is they create this environment whereby everything is wrong. And what we're seeing is, okay, fine, we recognize that there are some concerns to be addressed, but let's be constructive. And it doesn't mean, for example, that you can't do things, it just means that you do things with care. And the current government are certainly well aware that we need to maintain Bermuda's current reputation, and we're not going to do things that's going to cause the reputation itself to be compromised. And so we're saying that they are being scaremongering or fearmongering by what they're doing, as opposed to simply asking questions and being constructive.
Now, you believe that there will be a real opportunity for Bermudian jobs if this gets off the ground and running successfully?
Yes, and if you follow the recent statements by the Premier, many companies have already agreed to domicile in Bermuda, and some of those companies have actually signed off memorandum of understanding whereby they're going to provide actual funding. And today in the Senate, we actually talked about the new fintech fund. And what that will do is receive all of these funds, and then they'll be dispersed appropriately. And as we discussed again in the Senate today, the funds will be dispersed primarily for educational reasons, such that Bermudians can equip themselves appropriately to be available to work in this new fintech industry.
Still to come, accusations in the Supreme Court that a defendant tried to set a woman alight. Plus all the latest weather news. That's after this short break.
Sears is Bermuda's largest home appliance store with over 200 appliances in our showroom. We have refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, washers and dryers. Sears has a wide selection of craftsman's tools and accessories. Beautify your home with our lawn and garden tools. We have everything you need for outdoor entertaining. Located at 41 Victoria Street, Sears is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sears, reliable delivery, quality service, and everyday low prices.
I didn't order this one. This is the wrong item.
What? These are the wrong size.
I wanted white pants for the white party.
These are way too big. Oh my gosh, this is not what I ordered.
Finally in Bermuda, announcing Mailboxes Unlimited's Internet Return Hub. Now for an 85% savings. No matter how you brought your items into Bermuda, you can return your items back to the U.S. easily. Mailboxes Unlimited's Internet Return Hub. Stop by today.
Thanks for staying with us. A woman is on trial for allegedly throwing gasoline on another woman outside a sports club on Christmas Eve last year. 30-year-old Ebony Allen denies that she splashed gasoline on Natasha Morris with the intent to burn her. But the Supreme Court heard testimony from Ms. Morris today in which she claimed Allen had threatened to set her hair alight during a fight. Here's more in this report.
Prosecutors say a verbal confrontation broke out between the two women at the Southampton Rangers Sports Club on Christmas Eve. They then say Ebony Allen threw gasoline on Natasha Morris with the intention of burning her. Morris claims she doesn't know the defendant personally, but they had a brief argument at the Devil's Hole Club 9 days before the Christmas Eve incident. In her testimony, Morris said she was approaching her car at 3 a.m. to leave the premises when she saw Allen sitting on a wall. The defendant approached her before throwing a liquid onto her face and hair. A fight then broke out, with Morris saying she heard Allen say, quote, "Someone give me a lighter, I'm gonna light this girl's hair on fire." The witness said she heard a lighter flicker at least twice near her ear as the accused tries to set her alight. Security guards intervened to break up the scuffle, with Morris saying she found her eyes were burning afterwards. The next morning, she went to the Hamilton police station to report the incident. They took a statement and asked her to bring in the clothing she wore. During cross-examination, defense lawyer Charles Richardson suggested Morris likes getting into fights, but she denied this. He also suggested that Morris did not see exactly who had thrown the liquid on her, a statement Morris agreed with. Richardson also questioned how it would be possible for his client to be handed a lighter during the fight and accused Morris of being the aggressor. The trial continues.
Another fine day here in Bermuda. Can we expect more of the same as the weekend approaches? Here's AccuWeather with all the answers.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and we are almost to the weekend. Looks like at least the first half of the weekend is looking pretty nice for us. I know we've been talking about this disturbance that is now to our south and west. Really not going to cause any problems for us. This still stands a very low chance of development. And as we head into the next couple of days, it's going to be moving toward the east coast, and then it's going to take a sharp curve. We might get some moisture on the tail end of it, but besides that, that's really it with this one. But we do have a tropical storm out there. That one, not going to have any issues for us, but we'll touch on that in a little bit later on here. So here's our futurecast tonight, that area of low pressure with that disturbance. You can see it right there with that circulation. And as we head into Friday here, again, it is going to be working its way toward the east coast, and then eventually kind of gets lost in here with our futurecast. It'll be turning its way to the north and east. And what we'll get from that, if anything, is the moisture that comes in with the tail end of this. So we could see some scattered showers as we head into the weekend, the later half of the weekend, and also into next week. But for now, we're okay. Temperatures are sitting in the low 80s. The water's also in the low 80s. Waves inside the reef between 1 and 2 feet, and waves outside of the reef between 3 and 5 feet. And that's actually going to be decreasing as we head into tonight. All right, marine alerts, we've got none. So your upcoming tides right over here. Low tide coming in at 8:31 tonight, and tomorrow's Friday. We've got high tide just before 3 a.m. And for tonight, a little bit breezy outside. Temperatures right around 76. Mainly clear skies overhead. A beautiful day on Friday, a nice way to start off the weekend on a good note, 83 for our high temperature. Looking at your gateway forecast here, we will see some cooler temperatures moving into the northeast this weekend. New York, Boston, and Atlanta, we're looking at showers and thunderstorms. Also some storms down there in South Florida. London, nice and pleasant, 86 degrees for tomorrow. All right, here is our tropical storm Burl. Latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Winds are at 40 miles per hour. This is moving west at 16 miles per hour. And again, this is not expecting to have any kind of impact on us here. You can see through this weekend, staying a tropical storm, this likely will have some impacts with some rain into the Windward Islands and eventually some rain into the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we've got Tropical Storm Burl out there, Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad right now. Okay. Couple of showers out there. Here's your extended forecast. Friday and Saturday, 2 beautiful days. We'll get some of that moisture with that disturbance off to our south. Again, that tail end of the moisture. Sunday through Tuesday of next week with scattered showers. But again, the tropical storm, not an impact for us, but it could be for you if you're doing some traveling to the Windward Islands.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
It's hurricane season. Here are some tips from BF&M. Before a storm, make sure you have a family plan. Stock up on food and water and protect your home. Board up and make sure your insurance policies are up to date. After a storm, check everyone's safety, especially seniors. Inspect your property and secure from further damage. Then note the damages, list, and take photos. Remember, you can always count on BF&M 24/7 during hurricane season and all year round.
Body good and you're special to me. Wanna make you my lady officially. If I want it, me hate a fern killer. Me no believe in a fern killer. Family, I me say family. Love me to the end, but none of them not close to me like the mustard. Tell about cha-cha, cha-cha. None of them not close to me like the mustard. Tell about cha-cha. I know can love you like I do. There is no one to love you like I do. Come on, lady. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? You feel like a bad man, keep it to yourself. Don't bring it to Jamaica, keep it to yourself.
Welcome back. A new edition of a popular guidebook to Bermuda is being published. It's the 5th edition of the Moon Guide, written by the Bermudian journalist Rosemary Jones, and has sold close to 25,000 copies in North America and Europe. She's written all the editions, which is updated every 3 years, and she took our reporter, Hal Davis, to 2 of her favorite spots on the island.
It's hardly a secret location, but for travel writer and journalist Rosemary Jones, the railway trail is one of the most beautiful places on the island, particularly this section from Paget to Warwick.
It's just a lovely place to escape away from the traffic. It sort of offers an insider view to, cuts through the heart of Bermuda. See a lot of gardens and farmers' fields and beautiful views when you go further west. I recommend the trail to anyone who comes to visit.
She's the author of a new edition of the Moon Guide to Bermuda, one of the most popular travel books about the island. Most are sold in Europe and North America, but it's also available here. Jones has written all 5 editions so far, starting in 2006. So what does she think of the current state of the tourism industry in Bermuda?
There's great growth in tourism. The offerings and the activities are more dynamic, younger visitors. There's a real dynamic energy now that I think everyone can feel.
Then it's down along a fairly treacherous path to one of the island's less appreciated gems. It's one of Bermuda's many public beaches.
This is Astwood Cove. It's all part of the Astwood Cove National Park and part of the South Shore Park system. It's one of the prettier, quieter little beaches, a little tricky to get down to, and maybe that's why it's a little more private, but very beautiful.
But after writing all these editions over more than a decade, it's a beauty that Jones says should be better known.
Many people still don't know on the East Coast that we're so close. We all just have to keep telling people that it's, 90 minutes from New York. I still find people are surprised by that fact, just the proximity to North America.
So some hope that we'll see more visitors to locations like the Railway Trail or Astwood Cove. The Bermudians themselves can also benefit from Rosemary Jones's researches, finding new corners in another world. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Still to come, the cameras click and the models preen. It's time for the Fashion Festival once again. We'll have a full preview, plus our very own model sports reporter Earl Basin will be here with all the latest sporting action.
Fresh blueberries, 1-pint package, hot price $3.99. Fresh Purdue chicken thighs, just $1.99 per pound. Freshly baked hamburger or hot dog rolls, 8-pack, hot price $3.99. Kellogg's single-serve breakfast cereal, 1.5-ounce cup, only $1.39. Arm & Hammer liquid laundry detergent, 50-ounce, hot price $5.70. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Every home tells a story, and your story is all yours. Wherever you live, whatever your style, express yourself with Beak Saving Zone. So many unique styles to help tell your story and create your dream home. From contemporary to classic, and from modern to mind-blowing, we've always got your style in mind. No matter the project, no matter the size, from restoration to renovation, Beak Saving Zone has your style with a huge selection and incredible savings. Visit our showrooms at Wallers Point Road, St. David's, or online at BeakSavingZone.com.
Football fans, if you were unable to see the live action of the 2018 FIFA World Cup from Russia, Bermuda Broadcasting Company would like to take this opportunity to inform our valued viewers. We will rebroadcast all 64 matches of the 2018 FIFA World Cup from Russia on ZFB TV7 nightly. The rebroadcast will start at 8 p.m. and end in the early hours of the next morning. This will coincide with the FIFA daily schedule.
The Bermuda Fashion Festival is back. It's better than ever and set to get underway on Sunday with the Evolution Retail Show. Here's a preview of what you can expect.
The city of Hamilton is once again bringing together homegrown talents and world-class international designers. It's designer Christine Jones' first time collaborating with overseas talent to debut her fuller figure women's line.
I primarily do plus-size wear. My collection this year is called Island Days, and it is inspired by everything Bermuda. My brand is for the girl who doesn't need an occasion to dress up. She does it because it's a Tuesday.
Former Miss Bermuda Rochelle Miners is making her second appearance on the local designers panel. She's back in Bermuda fresh off her experience in London working with Net-a-Porter to unveil her own collection of sporty chic designs.
My collection this year is inspired by swirl. It's just color blocking and fun bright colors, and it's a mix of island life and city life.
Designer Shantia Seymour's line of resort wear extends to women, men and children.
My line is based off of the 60s to the 90s. Even though I wasn't born in that era, I'm just in love with the prints and the vintage feel. My brand is a resort wear because who doesn't love to vacation in Bermuda?
The Evolution Retail Fashion Show is the official launch of the week-long festival, with 100 models gracing a 72-foot-long runway. The L'Oreal International Designer Show is on Thursday, July 12th. It will feature Project Runway alum Michael Costello, Lisa Nicole Cloud, Thomas Lavone, Evelyn Lambert, and Mickey Freeman. Organizer Danelie Trott says the festival maintains high standards and the aim is to sustain its influence on the local design scene.
The Local Designer Program is an intense 4-month mentorship program that's created to help each designer conceptualize and execute a professional runway collection, which is debuted at the Local Designer Show.
Guest models Jessica White, who featured in campaigns for CoverGirl, Maybelline, and Sports Illustrated, will appear during the festival, along with top male model Daniel McGuire. Other local artists set to make their mark at this year's festival are Desiree Riley, Nicola Lucas, Taiwan Hollis, and Sharday Simons.
Daniel Phillips wins back-to-back tennis tournaments in the Caribbean. Bermuda's under-12 boys tennis team defeat Jamaica. And Bermuda's Paralympian Jessica Lewis wins the 100-meter dash in the Canadian Championships. Earl Bazin has the details of these stories and more in tonight's Sports Report.
Daniel Phillips has made it 2 wins in a row. This after conquering all competition in the Bahamas, taking part in the Junkanoo Bowl.
Beating in the boys under 14 division final, Phillips defeated his doubles partner, Jaden D. Lavante, in straight sets 7-5, 7-5. Meanwhile, Bermuda are now 2-1 during the Kotak under 12 boys tennis tournament going on in Santo Domingo. Bermuda is being represented by Antonio Walker, Andrew Phillips, and Cooper McGuire, with Gavin Manders serving as the coach. After going down to the Dominican Republic 3-0 and defeating Haiti 2-1, Bermuda defeated Jamaica by the score of 2-1. McGuire came from a set down to defeat Matthew James 5-7, 6-3, 6-3. Warner would then win his game against Cale Cassery in straight set 6-4, 6-2. Jamaican pair Cassery and Jamar Parkinson defeated Warner and Phillips in a 3-set battle 6-3, 4-6, 11-9. Jessica Lewis began competing in the 2018 Canadian Track and Field Championships at the Terry Fox Athletic Facility. Lewis, on her first day of competition, won the women's 100-meter dash para wheelchair race, clocking a time of 17:34. Ayana DuPont was second in 17:87. Sarah White finished third in 18:82. Lamont Marshall finished 33rd out of 6,000 runners during the Peachtree 10K road race, clocking a time of 31:41. Meanwhile, Sean Trott ran to victory during the Regents Park Summer 10K road race that had some 622 competitors. Trott clocked the winning time of 35:01. The Wednesday night sailing series continued on the waters of the Hamilton Harbor with 24 boats going to the start line for race day 10. Air Force was the first boat to cross the line, clocking a time of 1:09:26, and with the corrected time of 1:05:06, saw them finish second on the night. Smokin crossed the line second on the night with a time of 1:10:24, with the corrected time of 1:05:05, saw them finish first on the night. Mayhem was third on the night with a corrected time of 1:06:27. This after crossing the line at a time of 1:10:53. Passion was fourth, clocking a corrected time of 1:11:14, and Back in Black rounded out the top 5 finishers with a corrected time of 1:12:23. Western County Cricket Association announced the dates and location for the 2018 Western County Cup Cricket Competition. The Western County Cricket Association, in conjunction with host Southampton Rangers Sports Club, announced that the series will be held at the Southampton Oval. The first round will be played this coming Saturday at the Southampton Oval, with champion Southampton Rangers hosting Somerset Bridge. Round 2 will be played on Saturday, July 14th, with the winner taking on Warwick Workmen's. August 11th will see the winner take on Willowcutts, and the final round will see the winner take on PHC on August 25th. Only 2 games were played in the latest round of Bermuda Commercial Summer Softball League season at the Michael Priest Softball Diamond last evening. A total of 41 runs crossed the plate in the doubleheader. The Ragamuffins defeated the Shooters 20-0, and then the PHC Zebras went down 18-3 to the Hard Knocks. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
That's it from us for this evening. I'm Jasmine Patterson. Hope to see you again tomorrow night. But for the moment, have a great evening.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.